Hello and welcome to What's Sizzlin, the podcast that covers all things marketing. We have new guests each episode from companies covering all verticals. As always, I'm your host, Mitch Levinson, and today with me I have Julia O'Connor. We're both with Creative Sizzle, and in this week's episode, we're going to talk with Lauren Pond, and we're going to talk a little bit about Google Grants, keyword, and AdWords and advertising and things like that. So welcome, Julia.
Hi, Mitch. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's great. So always exciting when we talk to Lauren about AdWords, Google Grants, SEO, and that sort of thing.
I know I love talking to Lauren in general, but she gets so excited talking about the analytics, and it's always so fun to hear what she has to say and what she's compiled for our clients.
Especially in this space, we're going to focus today on not-for-profits or nonprofit marketing. We do a lot of work with nonprofits, and a lot of it's difficult, right? They don't have any budget, and they're trying to capture donations and volunteers and work with people in their free time and really make the world a better place. And not only do we champion and are we cheerleaders for business, but we're also like that for people with their causes. And it's very, very, very exciting when we are able to help someone make a difference with their cause and watch as we help them spend some of that free money that Google gives out every single month.
I think that that's one of the most special things about our team in particular is that we all kind of enjoy being able to give back to the community, and working with these nonprofits this way is one of the best ways to be able to do that. I know Lauren especially has a very special place in her heart for some of our nonprofits, really all of our nonprofits, but she really likes to be able to contribute to any of the causes that we support in any way that she can. And honestly, Google Analytics is one of the biggest ways that we can provide feedback and data and really great stuff for them.
And to know what content is resonating with their volunteers, with their donors, with people that are looking at their website, to understand exactly where it is so that we can use that to drive more business, more traffic, more donors, more volunteers to them. We work with a lot of different not-for-profits, and Lauren's going to share with us some of the things that we do, whether it's elder care or credit repair or human trafficking and things like that. We do work with several food banks, whatever. There's a lot that we work with and champion for, because there's nothing better than to really feel like you've made a difference in someone's life. And a lot of not-for-profits are set up because someone had a challenge, a life-challenging situation that they needed to overcome or needed help with. And whether it was for cancer or disease or Alzheimer's or something like that, or whether it was for credit repair, just situational, it really feels good to make a difference. And over the course of our company and our careers, we've all done that. We've all volunteered or gone to Paws or some animal not-for-profit to help out there. We've participated in donating clothes or things like that to Wings or the Salvation Army or Goodwill. We've all done that, and it feels good to do that. And from a company standpoint, it feels really good to help them continue their operation because they're getting traffic from people that are going to donate money, and they're getting donations, or they're getting quality people to help them with the events that they're having as volunteers. So it feels really good to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Lauren and I have kind of this unspoken rule of after we, meet with some of our new nonprofit prospective clients, we'll get on the phone right afterwards and we're like, we absolutely love this, this person, this cause, this organization, and we just can't wait to get ready, get cooking, get volunteering, and get things going so that they can find success and help some people out.
So if you're not-for-profit and you're listening today, you're really in the right place. You're going to learn a little bit about how you can do a lot of this yourself and get Google Grant. And Google Grant is it's a $10,000 per month advertising budget that you can use, that they give you in terms of clicks. There's a lot of rules and regulations and limitations for how you can use that and spend that budget, but it's really, you get a lot of clicks from it if you do it the right way. And using a company that knows what they're doing and can get you the most clicks in the right places for the right cost really will help. So spending that Google Grant is not as easy as it sounds, but promoting your not-for-profit and then having a landing page for them to land on and being able to bring your cause to the forefront is really what's great about what we're going to talk about with Lauren today.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. So when we return from the break, we will be here with Lauren Pond with Creative Sizzle, who's going to talk about not-for-profit marketing and the Google Grant. ChicagoRealEstateForum.com is the place where Chicagoans and people that live in the 7 county surrounding areas go to get their real estate information. ChicagoRealEstateForum.com is a great way to see available listings, find information about the area, all on the same website. You can also get connected to real estate professionals that know the area and can help with all of your real estate needs. Visit ChicagoRealEstateForum.com to learn more. And now, let's get back to What's Sizzlin'. Welcome back to What's Sizzlin', the podcast that talks about all things marketing. With us today, we have Lauren Pond. She's with Creative Sizzle, and she does a lot of our SEO and search engine optimization and search engine marketing. And today, Lauren, we're going to talk specifically about not-for-profit marketing and the Google grant. So welcome to the show, Lauren.
Hi, Mitch. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, very exciting. So for the not-for-profits that are listening today, talk a little bit or tell them how to get started with it, because it's not very common. A lot of not-for-profits don't know that Google gives free money, free clicks, free advertising to all not-for-profits. Actually, we haven't run across one that wouldn't qualify for the advertising grant. And the advertising grant is up to $10,000 per month worth of advertising. So that's $120,000 per year of clicks from Google to your website. You know, that's a lot of money. That's a big budget for companies.
That is a lot of money.
So how does someone get started doing something like that?
So first off, obviously, like you said, not all nonprofits know about the Google grant ads and that they do give the money. Once they want to partake in that, there's an application that gets filled out by the organization. They fill it in, they submit it. Within 2 to 3 days, they get the response back, and Google sets up the account, and they have the money to spend. And that's when they come to us, because we've seen where a lot of nonprofits have tried setting up their Google ads by themselves, and they have not gotten as far as they would like. So it takes us to go in there, look at their keywords, look at their ads, and help them set it up to get the effect that they're looking for.
Yeah, so once they apply, they get the account. Now there's some setup and configuration in the account that we go in and or they can go in and set up and make sure. And Google puts in that grant, that budget for them to use every month. And I want to be clear. It's not actual money. It's just value of clicks per month. So they get $10,000 worth of clicks. So how does that compare to like what we normally do for SEM clients, people who are participating in paid ads and it's their own budget and they have some money to spend and they're buying ads through Google, versus the difference between what they're doing with Google ads and the Google grant?
There are some limitations with the Google grant ads. Yes, there's the $10,000 worth of clicks, but you can only spend $2 a click. The money that you use can't go higher than $2. So it does create a challenge when you might be bidding on a word that's $10 a click, but you can only do $2. One of the other challenges is the keywords. Some people can use just one keyword, but with the Google grant ads, you have to use more than one word. So you have to put together a grouping of 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 words. And that's another rule that a lot of people don't know when they're setting it up.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So not only do you have a limitation on how much you can bid per word, but you have to create more exact match or broad range word phrases that really match. And, we've been doing this a long time, both for profit businesses and for not-for-profits. And we just went through an exercise with a business, a not-for-profit that's in a very challenging industry. And I want to talk about how we set up their words. They work with the elderly, aging in place, and they're consultants really that help them either find what they need to put them in a retirement community or facility or stay at home or nursing. And so there's a lot of kinds of words that they use as consultants to help adults manage their aging parents. Sometimes they have Alzheimer's, dementia, they have Parkinson's, they have other medical issues that they need to deal with. And sometimes there's lots of reasons that people need counseling of this nature. So we work with this not-for-profit, and it's in an industry, there is some competition for what they do, and they compete with not only the facilities themselves, but some of the in-home care. So there's a lot of competition in terms of the industry itself. But if you think about it from a competitive standpoint, from a keyword competitive standpoint, they're also competing with the 55 plus or the age restricted new home communities and apartments. So there's a lot of competition for keywords of this nature. And what we found when we started to work with them was it's hard to find words that are going to generate traffic because most of the words and the word phrases are much more expensive than $2 and are not the same in terms of long tail words. So talk a little bit about what we did for them and how that's working so far. How do we set up the change in what the words were?
So what we did is we pulled a report, an initial report of all the keywords that we set up to begin with. And what we did is we looked through them to see how many clicks they were getting, how many impressions they were getting. And we decided that these were all really good words. But what if they went ahead and what if we combined some of the words?
So let me just start and ask you a question just to break it down. So that first initial list of words, how many words were there in that initial list?
There was about 256 words.
Okay, so we were working with about 250 to 300 words initially when we first started. Okay, that's great. Now keep going.
So then what we did is we put together a list. We took what the industry was. We then took the word senior or elderly or senior citizen, and then the industry, home care, retirement community, Parkinson's disease, dementia, all the different words, and we then combined them and we created 3 brand new lists. And that equaled about 3,000 brand new words that we were able to put in to the AdWords and see how those were going to perform.
Yeah, so it was interesting. You described the matrix so really well. We had the words that were the type of person that would need the service. We had the kind of facility or location or place the service would be given. And then the third set of words were the consulting, the education, the donations, the volunteer, those kinds of words about what they're looking for from an ad. So we had this list of 3 columns, and we put 1 and 2 together, we put 2 and 3 together, and then we put 1 and 3 together, and then 1, 2, and 3 together. And we came up with this huge list of words, and it was about 3,000. And then what happened exactly when we put all 3,000 of those words into the Google grant? What did Google say about the quality of those words?
So what's nice about putting things into Google Ads is Google is very good about giving you recommendations and suggestions on the campaigns that you have created. So once I put in all these keywords, we were at 3,000, which, right away most people would be like, 3,000 words, that's a lot. What do we do about that? Well, the next day after Google went through all the words and verified everything, they then came up with maybe 1,500 words that were not good words to use. They were a low search volume. Not many people were going to be looking for those words and clicking on them. So then it brought it down to about 500 words that we were able to use. So now we have a working list of 500 words.
And it's interesting, right? So it's double the amount of words we were working with to begin with. And we know all of them, and part of the 250 were low volume words that we were working with to begin with. So all of the 500 are now actual words that we know have traffic and will create some sort of traffic for the website. So we know these 500 words, and that's more than 500, but these 500 words are actual words that are good and are going to drive traffic to their website, donations, volunteers, or just for information.
The other thing is that Google looks at the words and says, oh, you have this word, let's say it's elder care as an example, and then you have different versions of elder care. Google says then these are redundant keywords. Use this word instead, retain this word, remove these 3. So there were 87 of those, so we're able to remove those, and then that continues to create a robust list of keywords that we're using, and within 2 days, we already have over 500 impressions of those keywords that people are looking at.
Yeah, so in 2 days, we did as much as we did in several weeks prior to that, just on that. But keywords were not the only change that we made,
No.
right? So let's talk a little bit about what we did for those ads.
So the ads are the text part of the grant that people see when they're Googling something. You see it appear at the top of the page and it has the word ad next to it. So what we went ahead and did is removed the name of the nonprofit, thinking that maybe people need to see something a little bit more than just the name of the nonprofit. So I went through some of those text ads and removed some of those words and put in some of our new keywords. And you can have a different amount of headlines. So we have some ads that have 15 headlines. We use the word elderly care resources, resources for elderly care, elderly care consultant. And then I was able to create descriptions. And instead of saying the name of the nonprofit, I said, we are able to help family members with their aging family members to find an assisted living, in-home care. And so we just went through all those as well, and I think I've created about 10 new ones with those.
So once we had this list of words, this keyword list that we knew was going to be effective, we ran those through the headlines for all of the ads, and now we're beginning to get a lot more traffic and clicks from it. And it's an exercise that we've done in the past for a lot of our for-profit businesses and other not-for-profits. So it's a really good exercise for anyone that's looking to spend money on Google AdWords or even Facebook advertising or whatever when you're looking at keywords. And then now that you have this list of words and you have these ads that are working, it's a great idea to look at the ads and the keywords that are driving the most traffic and make sure those are sprinkled throughout your website, because you're going to get some SEO value from it if you do it the right way, because you know people are looking for those kinds of words. So that's great. So Lauren, let's talk a little bit about some of the more challenging words. We have another not-for-profit that has a challenge with its words. They're a credit counseling company, and the word credit is in their name. And talk a little bit about, or tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you have with Google as it relates to words like credit repair or things like that.
This company, this nonprofit, was much harder to set up because the word credit is definitely not approved by Google. So you cannot say we repair your credit, because you're making a promise to people that you might not be able to fulfill. And Google, you cannot do that. You can't say, do you want a healthy credit? Or we can help you repair your credit. You cannot use words like that. So the challenge is this non-for-profit has the word credit in their name. So I set up all the ads. Obviously, I put their name in one of the headlines, and it kept coming back from Google that the ads were not approved. So I called Google because, it was very frustrating. And I explained to them that their name has the word credit in there. So it's a logistic thing they put through, and they approved the ads because they understood that. But I decided to go in and remove their name from some of the ads, thinking that will help as well. So I did that yesterday, and I'm waiting to see how those turn out. But Google, it's very strict when it comes to the Google grant ads.
Yeah, and this credit solutions that we are talking about, I was a guest on their podcast a couple of weeks ago, so go ahead and look at that. Great content talking about digital marketing, and John Wilkinson is great. He also is going to be a guest on our show, so keep a lookout for John Wilkinson and Credit Solutions. So that was interesting. There was something else about their setup that I want to share with some people, because it's very interesting. Lauren described that, create the account and then get us involved in it so that we can go in and configure it the right way. Sometimes companies, not-for-profits, try to set up the account to begin with, and Google actually sets up the wrong kind of account. They set up the regular Google AdWords account. And it's a very tricky situation to be in if you're a not-for-profit and you're expecting it to be free, and then all of a sudden, after a month, you get a bill for whatever the ad spend was. And that's what happened to Credit Solutions. So, their account was originally set up as a regular AdWords account, and we had to switch it. So, I don't know if many of the listeners really heard a few seconds ago when Lauren said, I called Google. It's pretty cool to work with an agency that has Google and their phone number, so we can call and get things handled as well as you can. They're the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and they do what they want, and sometimes they're very helpful and other times not so much. But having access to them is definitely a great resource for us. So Lauren...
And it is kind of cool when they call you on your cell phone too. I'll be eating dinner and they call me, this is Google, I'm going to help you with your grant ads. So that's kind of actually cool. And your family says, who are you talking to? Google? It's cool.
It's like Google as a person. It's funny. We've had a couple of people that work for us from SEO standpoint go and work for Google. RT works there, and one of these days you're going to get a phone call from her.
Yes, I would love that.
That would be great. All right. Well, Lauren, thank you very much for all the.
Oh, thank you for having me. And, just to say, like Julia, to kind of add on to what Julia said, when we first meet with these nonprofits for our initial discovery call to set up the grant ads, a lot of them are just working really, really hard, and being able to contribute to them and the hard work that they're doing and helping in any way we can. It's a great feeling, and we really enjoy working with the nonprofits. So it's been a great experience.
Yeah. So after the break, we're going to share with you how we work with not-for-profits and what we do, because we discount our service significantly for them, because we want to be the champion for their cause and help them accomplish their goals, more so than businesses. So if we do the same thing with businesses, we're definitely a cheerleader of industry. So we love to help, but we're going to share with you some of the things that we can do after the break. Are you looking for ways to increase your brand exposure and get your message out? Podcasting is a great way to share your story and generate new and qualified leads. Here at the What's Sizzlin podcast, we want to encourage you to join us as a guest on our show. We love talking to new people and learning about the ways you are marketing your business and getting exposure. If you're ready to make your podcasting debut with us, visit our website at creativesizzle.com/What's Sizzlin or give us a call. Welcome back. So, Julia, what did you think about that conversation with Lauren? Always great to hear some new ideas.
Absolutely. I know. I love when we get to talk about, nonprofits, especially, and all of the Google Analytics and the ads. And I think that those ads those are some good tips that she had for sure.
And to be able to promote a few of our not-for-profit clients and talk a little bit about some of the challenges that they've overcome and how we've been able to get them donations and clicks and volunteers really certainly makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of fun, when you get clients like ElderWorks or Credit Solutions, where you really have to kind of reinvent the wheel a little bit and make something up so that it works and it helps.
We do promote a lot of not-for-profits. And, one of the things that I wanted to share, if you are a not-for-profit or if you know one that needs some help and support, we do a first initial consultation with not-for-profits at no cost. We just want to make sure that they're headed in the right direction. We can share with them, again, how to get this Google grant and how to have access to the money and clicks so that they can run with it if they wanted to. And we're certainly available for a very low cost to help them run with it. And for any not-for-profit that mentions this podcast, we would be willing to help them initially with some initial keyword research. So that matrix that Lauren talked about creating with the 3 kinds of words, and then creating that list of words so that we know. We would be happy to do that with a not-for-profit at no cost initially, just to get them started. And again, if they decided to work with us, it would be included, anyways. We really just want to be a champion for business.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, is just, being able to contribute and help out these great causes.
Yeah, and if you are a business and you're looking at your AdWords account and you want to do a better job and you want to get more clicks and you want to get more clicks for the same amount of money and you want to spend a little bit and make sure that it's working the right way, we would love to help you. That keyword matrix that we talked about and the way that we bid on words when it has to be more than $2, the way we come up with how we're driving those ads really makes a big difference, especially when we can control the landing page and we can look at what it is that they're going to look at when they're there. So we appreciate you all listening today. So, feel free to give us a contact if you have any questions about AdWords, Google Grant, not-for-profit, or business marketing.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us this week for another episode of What's Sizzlin' in Marketing. Head over to iTunes or wherever you're getting this podcast from to subscribe, rate, or leave a review. It really does help out the show. As always, if you'd like more information about today's guest, becoming a guest yourself, or if you need marketing support, all of that can be found at creativesizzle.com/What's Sizzlin'. Thanks again. I'm Mitch Levinson.
And I'm Julia O'Connor.
And we'll see you next time.